Hey everyone, welcome back. It's Snoo, and we have here before us a Season 1 trailer reveal for Diablo 4, much anticipated, something I've really been looking forward to seeing, just in case it blew my socks off. I had mentioned in the previous video that that's basically what it was going to take in order for me and a lot of people like me to, reinvigorate our thrill of getting back into Sanctuary. To be hype or not to be hype, I think you pretty well know the answer based on the title of this video. Of course, when it comes to Blizzard cinematics, the polish, it's absolutely hype worthy. Just look at this trailer. It's so beautiful. And its design, choreography, everything, animation, always second to none. But at the end of the day, what grants us repeated playability is the actual quality of the mechanic itself, and I gotta say, it's not that impressive in my opinion. But anyway, you can read all about it. You can go to the website, look at it. I'm not going to talk in great detail. It's called Malignant. Kill an elite monster every once in a while. You got to kill it a second time. Interact, click this, pick up this, maybe a little bit of crafting. Unless the crafting side of things is like ultra in-depth and super customizable with not just a couple of things that change the way you play a build, but actually like supreme levels of creativity allowed into it, which is not going to be. Unless it were that, there's nothing really to see here. It's just going to be, it's not the worst case scenario. I said imagine Path of Exile's worst or most disappointing League mechanic. Like maybe the current League mechanic, as far as, excitement to engage with it. Imagine that. Okay, it's not that bad, probably, but it's definitely lukewarm at best, and I said they're going to have to knock our socks off and give us something insane with huge amounts of depth to really bring the end game online, and really they only had one season to do it. I think a lot of people are going to tune out, certainly a lot of people like me. I got to thinking, this is disappointing. It's not really something that's getting me excited for Season 1. I don't even know if I'm going to play it now, to be honest. The timeline of it, maybe I'll have time to play it for like 6 days, I guess, because 6 days after it comes out, I'm going to be flying to Auckland. And then, definitely going to be looking at Path of Exile stuff from that point forward. So I got to thinking, what kind of season would I have wanted to see? Like, what's an example of a mechanic I would have wanted to see? I don't want to just transpose Path of Exile's League mechanics to another because, of course, we're going to be comparing that game to this game because, let's face it, even though Diablo 4 doesn't have to be Path of Exile, and it shouldn't be exactly like that game, it's important that, the ARPG games take inspiration from one another. And if you're going to make a game that's live service, seasonal based, and you're supposedly going to be giving a whole bunch of content each season, Path of Exile is the model to replicate for sure in that regard. And I was hopeful, my expectations weren't that high, but I was at least hopeful that they were going to do something on that level. And they did not come out with a banger of Season 1. So what would have qualified as that? And, I just kept thinking over and over about that. And what I kept arriving on was Helltides. Why weren't Helltides the first seasonal activity? That would have sufficed. That would have been big enough, especially with, shall we say, the most recent iteration of it, where they can actually drop unique chests. That's the only place that you can target farm slot-specific uniques. As the only place you can get the reagents for the final upgrade to your piece of gear. Is the only place, at least hypothetically speaking, it might be the only place where you can reforge already legendary items, whereas maybe before, hypothetically, you could reforge any rare item without the reagents. I'm thinking, I'm kind of changing in my mind how that would have been pulled off. Dude, I would have been so hyped for Helltides. And would the game have really been that much worse off and released if we didn't have Helltides? I wouldn't have really thought any less of it. I don't think any of you would have either, honestly. Was anyone sitting here thinking about buying or playing the game based on the fact that Helltides exists? No. But at the same time, we can all probably agree that Helltides is one of, if not the best core mechanic in Diablo 4. It's certainly the most engaging one, most interesting one, the only one that's set with a timer, the only one that has any stakes at all, really, for dying outside of hardcore. And it's very unique in the way that you can target farm specific gear. Yeah, there is the Obols and the Tree of Whispers help you target farms different things, but if this is the only place where you can get any uniques, pretty cool. It has its own very specific events tied into it. It changes the entire landscape. Different monsters that are about twice as difficult, I guess. Twice as scary, you know, it has normal monsters. Definitely a big deal. You know, almost half of an entire zone gets changed out. It's kind of randomized. Or let's at least in our mind imagine that it is actually randomized and that there's not a third-party website that tells you where everything is. I think it's a shame that they couldn't have gone the extra mile to program those chests to spawn in literally anywhere where there's a terrain side area, so that there is no third-party website that could keep track of those things. You know, give it a pinnacle boss. Make a portal spawn in the middle that costs 1,000 aberrant cinders to go in. You get one attempt to kill a boss in there. It drops crazy loot. That would have been pretty badass. Or make a portal spawn randomly when you open a chest. A very low chance to go and find some semi or actual pinnacle boss. Dude, people would have been hyped for that like crazy. I think they dropped the ball here. That would have been a really great way to introduce Season 1. We got tons of people hyped up for the game. Again, imagine, you know, being able to upgrade one more step on your gear. That would have given something for the min-maxers to pursue. Target farming specific legendary aspects and or uniques. You know, we already had Tree of Whispers. We had regular dungeons, nightmare dungeons. We had side quests. We had renowned. We had altars of Lilith. We actually did have quite a bit of stuff to do. Different check marks to check off in the core game. I really think they should have extended the enjoyment of the game by delaying the release of Helltides. For that, it certainly fits within the theme of a seasonal event. Also, I mean, it's a temporary thing embedded into a temporary season. It could have been, and it certainly would have been nice to implement that into the core game afterwards, at some scale. So maybe, you know, PoE brain rot or something, you know, trying to think of what they could have done, should have done. Maybe it's a little bit too PoE-esque, but again, like the current Season 1 plans with the Malignant, there's just not a whole lot there to it. I get it. It is new content, technically. Gonna get some new powers, some new gems with new, I guess, abilities that maybe we haven't seen before, but I saw a lot of things. It just looks like it's giving you more stats anyway, with a few conditional things. But anyway, I want to hear what you guys think. I think Helltides should have been the first season. Would have made a lot. It would have the degree of loss of excitement. For imagining hypothetically that we never knew about Helltides, it kept a secret the whole time, wasn't implemented in the game. The degree of loss from that lack of content versus the degree of excitement if a seasonal event that big on scale had actually been implemented as a Season 1, that is more than a worthy trade. So yeah, I think they should have made Helltides the first seasonal content. I can't think of anything else that would have been better. Can't make Tree of Whispers that because that's like just like core dailies. Obviously, you're not going to make dungeons or nightmare dungeons a seasonal 1. You have to have some kind of endgame content. But yeah, let me know your opinion. That's where I'm at. Not all that excited for this season. I think they should have brought out either Helltides or something of that scale, something of that level of depth and intrigueness to it, I guess. And maybe something a little bit more endgame, because actually Helltides are not really endgame, but they're kind of early endgame. But there are some, in-game aspects to it, basically with crafting and the reagents. So that's it for this video. I just wanted to share my thoughts on that. I'll see you guys in the next one, or I'll see you guys at ExileCon. I don't know which one. I'm sure another video will come out before that. I am going to be getting on the Path of Exile here pretty soon, so look forward to that. Bye for now.